You know that thing where your team asks you the same question for the fourth time this week? Or you're waiting on approval that should take 5 minutes, but somehow it takes 2 days? These aren't just annoyances, they are friction points, and they're stealing over 10 hours from your week. I know I found who identified just 3 of these and got those hours back. Today, I'll show you how to do the same. Most founders don't realize how much invisible friction is slowing them down. These are the small inefficiencies that feel normal because you've done them forever, but they compound. One bottleneck creates 10 downstream delays. And the frustrating part, you can't quite put your finger on why everything feels so slow. It's not that your team is incapable, it's not that you need a new software, it's that friction is invisible until you know how to spot it. Today, I'll show you how to spot the visible friction points and eliminate them so that your business runs smoother. Inside my operations reset framework, this is what I call the extract phase, where you get the invisible systems out of your head and into something your team can actually use. Well, let me show you how. So, what is invisible friction? It's the small inefficiencies that slow down your business, but nobody notices because they've always been there. And here's the thing, friction almost always hides in one of 5 places. Repeated questions your team keeps asking because there's no documentation, unnecessary approvals that require 3 people when one could decide, information living in your head instead of a system your team can actually access, outdated processes that work when you're making 100K but creates chaos at 500K, or too chaos where nobody knows where anything is. Does that sound familiar? Well, let me guess. You probably encountered at least 2 of these this week, right? Well, here's why this matters. These things don't feel like problems. They feel like just how we do things. But every single one of them is costing you time, energy, and speed. And you know what's the worst part? Friction compounds. One friction point doesn't just slow down one thing. It creates 10 other delays. I know a founder who ran a consulting business. Every time his team wanted to onboard a new client, they had to ask him for the contract template. It only took him a couple minutes to send it over, but here's what was actually happening. They would email him, he wouldn't see it because he was in a meeting, so they would have to wait. Sometimes hours, sometimes a full day. The client was waiting too, and the project couldn't start. One small friction point, contract template not in the share system. Delayed onboarding, project kickoff, client satisfaction, and revenue timing. That's how friction compounds. It's never just one thing, it's a chain reaction. Once he put that template in the share folder, his team moved faster. Clients got onboarded the same day, and he never got the email again. One friction point, gone. 10 hours of delay, eliminated. And you know what? His team felt it too. They weren't frustrated anymore. They could just move. That's what eliminating friction does. It gives everyone the momentum back. So, how do you find the friction points in your business? Well, here's the thing. The longer these friction points exist, the more expensive they become. Not just in time, but team morale, client experience, and revenue. So let's fix them. Here's what I recommend. Spend 1 week tracking every time something feels off or slow. Every time your team asks you for a question, write it down. Every time you're waiting on someone to approve something, write it down. Every time you can't find a file or a piece of information, write it down. At the end of the week, look at your list. You'll start to see patterns. Maybe your team asks you the same 3 questions every single week. Maybe approvals get stuck with the same person. Or maybe client information is always missing because nobody knows where it is. And here's what most founders realize when they do this exercise. It's not 10 different problems. It's 3 problems showing up 10 different ways. Pick the top 3, the ones that happens the most often or causes the biggest delay. Those are your friction points. And that list you just made, that's your roadmap to getting 10 hours back a week. Now, go on and eliminate them. If you don't eliminate these bottlenecks, they don't stay the same. They get worse because as your business grows, every inefficiency multiplies. What costs you 10 hours today will cost you 20 hours next quarter. So let's not wait. So here's what I want you to do this week. I'm dropping a friction audit template in the description. It's a simple tracker to help you spot patterns. Spend 1 week writing down every time something feels slow or stuck. Every repeated question, every approval delay, every time you can't find information. At the end of the week, look at the list. Pick the friction point that happens the most often or causes the biggest delays. Then eliminate it. Just one. Maybe it's a repeated question your team keeps asking you. Document the answer, put it somewhere your team can actually find it, like a shared doc, a Notion page, or a simple Google Drive folder. It doesn't matter, just make it accessible. Then, next time they ask you, you say, "Great question, I documented it here. You can find it next time you need it." Or maybe it's an approval process that's slowing things down. Ask yourself, does this really need 3 people to sign off? Can one person own this decision? Then hand it off. Or maybe it's information living in your head that maybe your team needs access to. Spend about 20 minutes doing a brain dump. Just write it all out. Put it in a shared system. One friction point. That's it. Eliminate it this week and watch how much faster things starts to move. This is the extract phase of the operations reset framework. Extract, assign, and scale. One friction point eliminated can give you back 10 hours a week. Imagine what 3 could do. If you want to see where the friction is in your business and how to eliminate it, I'll drop a link in the description to book a free audit call. I'll map out exactly what's slowing you down and build a plan to extract you from the day-to-day. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.